Hi again everyone, and welcome to my new subscribers. I'm going to do another reading today, which is you versus them. I'm going to choose some cards for your side and some cards for their side in respect of both your feelings for one another. Just keep in mind I talk in a more personal respect, but it also applies to the 5D. The 3D is like face-to-face contact and the 5D is soul contact. Keep in mind that it applies both ways, because even though you are not directly dealing with a person, the same feelings apply. And it could also be a future reading, so you might not feel those elements at the time of the reading, but as you go on, something in your mind makes you want to walk away. So just keep in mind that it could be a present situation reading or a future situation reading, and the future situation isn't usually far away, simply because if you have thoughts and feelings on a person, those processes work a lot quicker than a 3D process where you are dealing with a person directly and you're waiting on their actions. So just keep in mind when you listen to these readings that I will talk more in terms of the 3D, but it applies both ways. Okay, for deck 1, you have the 7 of Swords upright, the 5 of Pentacles upright, the 6 of Pentacles upright, and the 4 of Pentacles upright. These cards tell me that you are working on building something at the moment with this person. I can see that he's brunette, or that's what the cards say, he's brunette. I wouldn't be surprised if you work together. And with the 4 of Wands in the reading, it shows that you are looking towards a relationship that involves commitment. That is what the 4 of Wands indicates. It also tells me what you think of him. It says that you have the impression he is a very giving person, but that he does have a negative side to him, and his negative side comes out when he's working. So he must be under a little bit of pressure now and again, but he's also very charitable and very faithful. So it has a lot of cards here about constructing something with your person. You must be looking at building a relationship with this person, and he's in all 3 cards. I mean, he dominates your thoughts, particularly when the 7 of Swords is in the reading. It means you're really thinking about him a lot, but there has been a little bit of tension between you at work at times in the past. So I can see here that his negative side has come out in the past, and maybe you weren't on such good terms, but then you started progressing the relationship you had with this man in your mind, and you came to respect him. That's what it says, particularly with the 6 of Pentacles. You could see that he was a giving person that worked hard, and you like that about him. Something about his character really appealed to you after you'd gone through these tensions with him. But just at the present time, you're looking upon him as a little bit of a soulmate that you could potentially marry. So those are your thoughts. You'd really like to evolve this relationship and build on it. Okay, so they have the 8 of Wands in reverse, the 9 of Swords upright, and the 2 of Pentacles upright. What this shows is that there has been a lack of communication between you, and it has something to do with the fact that he has a lot of worries and it's keeping him up at night. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's a boss. It just shows that his main focus is his work, and it's taking away from his longing for you. It's just that whatever is happening is really worrying him. So I wouldn't be surprised if his business is going through a bit of a difficult period at the moment, and he doesn't know if he can work those aspects through, because that's what's in his thoughts when he thinks of you. And that would make perfect sense, but it shows that he likes you very much, but that he's nervous about something and he's concerned about something, and it has something to do with his work. In this tarot, it means he feels you're a person that is very quick to anticipate problems and solve them. So you must be a very quick person that's quick in the mind, because he looks upon you very sweetly, but also he sees you as someone who can save his business affairs, or, you know, combat the problems that he's having in his commercial affairs and potentially save whatever is happening. So those are in his thoughts. He does have a little bit of a crush. You have obviously picked up on that, but It's not as strong as yours. It has a bit of a different feel about it. It's more like his business comes first and his work comes first, and then his crush and his sweetness over you. Whereas you are more, yes, our work is important, but I think your expectation then is greater in terms of love. Okay, that was deck 1. I'll move on to deck 2. For your feelings, I've got the Ace of Swords upright, the Lovers in reverse, the Eight of Swords upright, and the Emperor in reverse. What these cards tell me is that you really think that you are on the mark with this love affair, but something has separated you both, and there's some kind of feeling of entrapment towards this person. It's almost as if you have restrictions to move this relationship forward, but that you want to take some decisive action about this relationship, which has been turned on its head because you've both been separated from one another. I can see that clearly, that you haven't been together, and it shows that because you haven't been together, you've become very nostalgic over this person, and I can see he is your Emperor, but he's in reverse in this reading, so he can be arrogant, but you like him very much. And this separation has cause for you to think of potential problems of the relationship between you. You are looking upon this person as your Emperor, but really he's an Emperor in reverse. I think you know that his arrogance could spoil the relationship, and that looks to be something you are aware of, and that is what you are concerned about. You know you like him, but there are things you know about him that you are not certain of, and that puts your feelings towards this person into doubt, because you would really like to throw a rose his way, but you're not sure if it would be accepted or not. You're entrapped by your thoughts on the matter because he's been separated from you for a while, but it does show that you want to take some dynamic action in respect of your love for this person. But it's just not coming to fruition because you're separated first of all. However, he's standing beside you in the scenario. So he is in some respect on your side, or you keep him on your side. It's just that he has this arrogance, and also it shows that he could be entrapped by circumstances which stop him from moving your relationship forward. But there is an intention by you to come in quickly and build a successful relationship. And that is clear in your mind, that even though there are all of these problems, that the positivity is here in the Ace of Swords, because you know he's not your lover and that you are separated. You know that he can be arrogant, but you also think he is your Emperor. And you know he could potentially be the wrong person for you, but you want to go in and make something of this relationship and make it successful. His side is that he does have worries. That's probably why he's the Emperor in reverse. He's going through some troubles to do with his work or business, but it also shows that there's another young man in this scenario that he's aware of. And he thinks this young man is in your life. So it shows that he does have the same idea as you, because on your side he's standing beside you. But what's happening is he does have business or work problems, and he is discomforted by whatever is happening, and whatever is making him feeling alienated from you, and whatever is worrying him, whatever is keeping him up at night, makes him feel very sad because it has something to do with his work or career. The Two of Pentacles is here in this reading, and that tells me you may have met in a working capacity, but there's also an unfaithful young man that he thinks about. So you must have a friend that he is aware of, or you have been seen with a younger man than yourself, because I can see that he's a little bit older. Your Emperor is a little bit older, because he has sadness over you potentially getting together with this younger man. He thinks it's become like a choice for you. He thinks that he's in your way. That's what he thinks. And that it's put his decision to come towards you at a crossroads. He has these working problems, but he's standing beside you and trying to protect his right to you at the same time. But I can see he has seen you with this younger fellow or heard about you being with this younger fellow, and it builds into his worries about whether he should forward this relationship, because he doesn't know if you are in a relationship with this younger man or not. This younger man is a water sign, of course. He's the Knight of Cups, so he's emotionally sensitive and loving. He's also in reverse, so he could be unfaithful. But gosh, does he worry over this younger man? Because you can see he's standing beside you in your thoughts, so it means that he feels protective towards you. And he's thinking of coming in quickly with some communication into the future. I'd say it could be 8 days or 8 weeks that you hear from him. He's dreadfully worried over this other man being in your life. So we'll just see how that pans out. I've also got the clarifier here. It talks about his work again. So maybe he has had a loss of work and you are walking back towards him. So you must have met him somewhere and you've decided in your thoughts that you'd like to go back to him. So you're on your path to him, but then you meet this younger man again. So that would send him into a tailspin because, you know, he stands guard by you, even though he is not the best type of person all of the time. He can be arrogant, but he's protective of you, and it worries him when you might be with somebody that isn't the best person for you, because he knows he is your emperor, which is very sweet, but he is arrogant. So let's just see how that turns out, because it says that you are going back to him, that you have plans in your mind to see him again and to develop your relationship with him. Okay, so next is deck 3. Gosh, another Emperor in reverse. You must all have arrogant men that you're in love with. This is a very similar reading, but it is a little bit different. So it shows on your side that you think this guy is arrogant, and you detect he has worries because you feel sad for him, because you think he's going through something dreadful. So you must have seen him somewhere and noticed something, like he must have seemed very stressed to you and it worried you because you feel sad for him. I wouldn't be surprised if you have strong love feelings, but that you're curious about him. That's why you've picked this deck. Sorry, so you don't have strong love feelings, that's what it's saying. But that you're curious whether you can develop something with him. And you think about that. And I think that's why you've picked this deck, because even though you don't have a strong association with this person, you're wondering whether it can develop. But when you came across this person, he gave you the impression that he was tyrannical. So he must have displayed some kind of aggression, and he seemed a bit stressed. That's why it shows in the 9 of Swords that you feel sad for him, because you felt at the time that he had some type of issue, and you felt sorry for him. However, in his feelings, oh, this is like a 360 reading. It really is. Your poles apart in your feelings. So maybe that meeting wasn't so coincidental, and he was stressed over you because in his feelings, he's the King of Pentacles upright, and he has the Justice card upright next to him and the Sun upright. So his feelings are much more astute. He knows something about you and he likes you a lot. He's thinking about having kids with you. He's thought about having kids with you. And he wants to bring justice to you. He can also see that you are a fair lady, and he's looking towards the Lady of Justice with happiness. So this reading is saying that he is wealthy, potentially wealthy. He is earthy, practical, but he has his own affairs to deal with. He is a king, so he must be quite an experienced person, very good in business. He could be an entrepreneur, and you can see that clearly in the cards. But he observes you closely, actually. However, he's practical about it. He looks upon you as a person who can bring him happiness. You must be a relaxed person because that's what you look like in this reading. And I can see that you wear casual clothes, whereas he's a lot more expensive than you. I mean, he wears top of the range everything. He's got golden shoes in this picture and a fur coat. So he really spends up big on his clothing goods. You know, he's amassed a fortune. He must have a house near the beach because that would make total sense. And it says that he lives very close to the beach and he lives higher up, so I wouldn't be surprised if he resides in an apartment that looks over the beach. That's what it shows here, but he looks at you all the time. He thinks about you all of the time. You know, you can see he's got his own business affairs that he's thinking about, so he's holding his coin in one hand that shows that money is on his mind, but he really looks upon you as a practical person, a fair person, a balanced person, someone who can potentially strike him down with her words, but that she's more cautious about what she says to a person. She's more gentle about what she says. She won't strike a person down, but she has a sword in her hand that is ready to be used, so she can rely on that when she needs to, but she says things with balance. She doesn't say things aggressively or assertively. She says things very gently but firmly, and it just shows you. Always wear your hair up and you keep it tied back. So in this reading, he sits beside you. He thinks you are his partner in his mind. The feelings are very harmonious. He sees you as an independent person, a loyal person, and he is also he has also probably had his own successes. But the other thing is, he's happy when he thinks of you. Really happy. He wants to bring you happiness and he wants to bring you children. He wants to have a family with you. He wants to have kids with you. Bring you joy and happiness, which is shown in the Sun card. Of course, you know what the Sun card means. It means ultimate happiness, and he has a clear vision of the life he wants to have with you. He is also very sincere, but he can see that you are independent. So I can see you're on different levels in terms of your thoughts about one another. Maybe you don't know about his love for you, because you are more concerned over his demeanour. Something happened and you observed his stress. But maybe that was just an off moment, because he seems to be quite a solid fellow now in this reading, quite a successful fellow. So your impression of him isn't the same as what his impression is of you, and he wants to bring that into balance. Okay, so next we have deck 4. I have 6 of Cups upright, the 5 of Pentacles in reverse, and the 6 of Pentacles in reverse. What this tells me is that there's a bit of innocence about you. You are not at work just at the moment, and you're thinking about someone that has dark hair. It shows that your two working cards are in reverse, but your emotions are upright. So you are really thinking about your feelings for this person whilst you're off work. It says that he is not a very giving person, but that you understand that about him. And it just says you don't want to build anything with this person at the moment. You have a kind of intolerance now, and it says that you are suffering from emotional issues for sentimental reasons because you found out something that is quite damaging about this person, but it says that you're still in love with them. You found out something that didn't suit you, but you still have these feelings towards this person. So you've stopped building on this relationship, but you feel like you'd like to develop things in an emotional capacity. But you still recognise that there's something going on with this man's career or money that doesn't suit you, but you still want to develop a relationship. You like him very much, and those emotions are developing, and they're still in the infant stage, but they're getting stronger on your side. On his side, he has, it's a bit of two minds, because first it shows that he can be a negative person, which you already know about on your side, and that he can be so negative that he kind of cuts down any ideals of love and happiness, which is the Four of Wands. You know, it's almost as if he's very cynical towards love, but I don't think you understand that about him because you have some dreams about being in love with him. It shows on his side that he doesn't want to construct anything with you. He doesn't want a new perspective on love. That's shown in the Seven of Swords because he has some tensions in his life and he is really struggling now. So he's just sort of cutting out any thoughts on constructing a loving relationship with you. But in saying that, you have the Three of Cups here in the reverse. You know, he has casual relationships that are quite happy, but he thinks of you as someone he met with briefly. He doesn't know you all that well. That's how he looks upon you. But because he's so cynical now, I mean, you still have the love cards on his side. So he's a bit of a funny fellow because he knows he has feelings for you, but you must have met only briefly or something, and he has got these tensions in his life, and that strips away his ability to move all of those loving feelings forward. But I think you understand that about him from your side, that he can be a potentially unforgiving person. However, you are much sweeter and more tolerant, and you'd like to still develop your emotions with this person because you know he liked you and you liked him back. You can see on both sides that there are cups, there are emotions. There is a mutual understanding about your emotions towards one another, but you didn't know one another for long, and he has become very cynical towards love. He knows how to get there because his Four of Wands is upright. It's just that he has these tensions, and it takes away from his ability to form a joyful relationship with someone. Plus, you've got the Three of Cups in reverse, so maybe there's someone else in his life and that relationship isn't going so well because it shows you're the third person. But he's not too concerned about that. It shows that he has a crush, but that he won't act on it because he's a stick in the mud. You know yourself that you can't build anything with him. But I think this confirms that he did have feelings for you, but he's not going to act on them because he's terribly negative. He has the potential to be lovely because he has all of the cups there, but there's also a third party. He must be very negative in that relationship, I'd say. There must be a lot of animosity and tension in it, and I don't know, even if he was willing to develop something with you, I don't think he'd suit your personality, which is very sweet and loving. He's not for you, you know that. But you were right, he does have those feelings, but he's just too cynical. Okay, next is deck 5. For you, I have the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, the Star in reverse, and the Hermit upright. What this shows me is that your person is spending a lot of money now. He potentially makes money, but he's not wealthy. He does do well for himself. I'd say he has a good salary for what he does, but he spends all his money. This guy, you know, he's a spendthrift, and you know that. Your thoughts on this guy are that he's someone that you feel obligated to you. You feel that he's your destiny, but it's not being realized because he has these bad habits, these bad spending habits. He must work either in finance or a field where he's dealing with business people or financial people all of the time. But he's spending his money, and you're thinking your destiny has been turned upside down with this fellow because of his spending habits. And you've gone within about this relationship anyway. You are really withdrawn. You've gone underground. You'd like to bring a light onto the situation. That's what it's saying. You'd like to be able to help this fellow with his problems so that your relationship can reach its full potential. Because it shows that it is a destined relationship between you. You feel there's been some errors of judgment on his part because he's either spent a lot of money and lived extravagantly and it's interrupted your destiny together. Or you must have felt that you had some kind of strong destiny together that you had to fulfill. And since you found out that he has this spending habit and has been living extravagantly, it's interrupted your potentially starry future together. So you've just gone within. You've given up a little bit. You've given up on the situation. You have become more introverted about this man, and you are really reflecting on this relationship, thinking that you'd like to shine a light on the situation and be the guiding light for him, but your stance on it is that he has ruined your destiny together because of his bad habits. Also, you're a different person. It shows that he's a very extravagant person and you're a very conservative person, and that you are in a different state of mind at the moment. I mean, you'd love to be able to show him the way, and you are moving towards him, but he is moving away from you, so he doesn't want your input at the moment. And you think he's trying to escape his destiny with you. So we'll just see what his feelings are on the situation. Okay, well, he thinks that you are his twin flame because he has got the Four of Wands, and that is central to his thoughts. That you are his potential marriage partner, you are his happiness, and you are his joy. What you have on either side is the Six of Pentacles in reverse and the Seven of Swords upright. So there's some negativity in his life. You know, we have this problem again of a snake in the midst. So he's not trying to build anything with you at this time. He's really suffering at the moment. He has some emotional suffering, and he has stopped building on his dream with you because of these emotional problems that he's having. Because there is negativity around him and he has worries. And at the moment he's really struggling, and it has interrupted his emotional development. You know, you've got this guy in this reading with the dagger and the snake in the Seven of Swords, and I don't think that's him, but those are his worries. So I don't know, there's been some bad people around him, I'd say. It's affected him negatively, to the point where he used to be a God-fearing man and he's no longer God-fearing. It's like he used to go to church regularly or something like that, so you can look at these either way. He used to go to church, or he used to be a good person, a thorough, very straight-laced person, and that was turned on its head. Because he's always had these plans for you and him. He has always wanted to fly away with you and have a family with you and provide you a substantial future. But there's been this negative influence, so I wouldn't be surprised if he got involved with negative people. And whoever he got involved with changed him. And it's caused him a lot of worry and anxiety, so something must have gone wrong. But central to his thoughts are these feelings he wants to develop with you as his twin flame. But those two negative elements are surrounding his feelings on the matter, so they must be complicating his intention to bring you happiness, joy and marriage. However, you already know about all that. I can see in your cards that he compromised his destiny between you both. And now you're meditating on it. You're not emotional about it, but you want to be his guiding light while he works through these issues. However, it does show that his feelings on that matter are stronger than yours. You know he's your destiny. But he has feelings of love, stability and marriage with you. So it's a pity he got involved with the wrong crowd, because you can see that he holds on to that ideal. But that he's got these worries now. Okay, so the next is deck 6. You have got the Four of Swords upright, the Ace of Cups upright, and the Hierophant in reverse. What this tells me is that you don't quite trust the love that you have for this person. They're very strong feelings. You have the Ace of Cups, so you feel true love towards this person. You feel it was love at first sight, but you are distrustful towards them. So they must have done something which offended you, because the Hierophant is in reverse. That shows someone who's not ready for commitment. So you don't trust your feelings of love because you're not ready to commit. That's what it's saying. You are in love. You just don't trust your feelings towards this person because you're a commitment phobe. I wouldn't be surprised if you are trying to find some information about this person as well, because you're very suspicious of this person you're in love with. But it more has to do with the fact that you don't really want a commitment with them, and you're trying to find every excuse under the sun to avoid a potentially serious relationship. Okay, so for him I have the Eight of Wands in reverse, the Three of Swords in reverse, the Chariot upright, and the Four of Pentacles upright. This shows me that he is suffering from a broken heart, and he's been upset about something. Something has disappointed him in the past, and it almost stopped his plan to communicate with you. But what it's showing is that he's moving on with that. He's now gathering momentum, and he's coming towards you. You must be the working lady, because he's coming up behind you. So when you next meet, you don't expect to see him, but he's coming in very quickly. So just keep in mind his thoughts are on you constantly. But there's two sides to it. He's suffering from a broken heart, first of all. Could be, or just getting over a broken heart. That's what it shows to me. Could be you, or it could be because of someone else. It shows someone else, but you never know. And it's made him a little bit pessimistic, so he's feeling upset about you for some reason, and that stopped his want to communicate with you. Because there has been a crisis in his life, and he hasn't been able to make a decision about whether to come forward with his love or not. But I think it shows in these cards that his opinion of you are that you are the Lady of Abundance. So he's really been agonizing over this decision. He's been hurt in the past, but now he's decided to forgo that nonsense and come towards you, because he knows that his thoughts on the crisis were silly. He knows that you are a positive person, that you are hardworking, and that you work towards your own abundance, and that his concerns over you were baseless, because now you're walking away from him, which means that you don't really acknowledge this fellow or need this fellow. You are concentrating on your own fortune, and you may not have as much as him because he has the horse and the cart, but you are just happy strolling about in the grass in your bare feet. So his worries over this situation are unfounded, and you're both in different positions anyway, because his thoughts on you before were connected to these issues you were having, but they were baseless, because his sense of pride and your sense of pride are based on different things. You know, you're a lot more practical in your approach to life, and you enjoy the simple things in life, whereas he's always in a position of power. So he feels judged all the time in his actions, whereas you don't. So it shows that his worries over this situation are unfounded, and that is shown in his past, that his inability to communicate due to his crisis impeded your love. So he expects to move in on the abundant lady that doesn't have a care in the world and who builds her own abundance. So your thoughts on him are that you are in love with him, but you're a commitment phobe and distrust what he's doing. And I guess you distrust him because he turned away from you when you needed him most. But now he's back on track. He's coming to get you. It seems like you are a person that only needs simple care, but he's a much more high maintenance individual. Okay, so that was the final reading. Please like, share, subscribe and comment if these readings resonated.